Good morning, student. Welcome to the physics class. In this session, we will study an important chapter which is electric resistance and Ohm's law. And this is chapter number 5. And this chapter is related to current electricity. It means that from this chapter, we will start the formation of current and the fundamental of current electricity. So these are the chapters which are related to electricity. So in this chapter we will study some important topics like mobility, drift velocity, Ohm's law and its proving, resistivity, drift velocity, VI characteristics. It means there are some graphs, electrical energy, power and temperature dependence of some resistances and resistivity. So these are the important topics which will be studied in this chapter. Now the first topic is electric current. As we know that the electric current is represented by I and it is defined as the rate of flow of charge per unit time. It means that in unit time the charge which is flow in that conductor is considered as an electric current. The unit of electric current is ampere and 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per second. Now the value of 1 ampere is 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electrons per second. So it is the standard value of 1 ampere in the terms of number of electrons. Now, electric current is a scalar quantity. It is an important conceptual question. It is generally asked in the board examination why current is considered as a scalar quantity, but it have a direction. So the reason is that current does not follow the vector rule, and those quantities which don't follow the vector rule are not called vector quantities. So current is not a vector quantity. The next topic is current density. It is also important topic. Generally current density is represented by J and J is equal to I upon A. It means that it is defined as the ratio of electric current in any conductor to the ratio to the cross section area of that conductor at a particular point. Its unit is ampere meter minus 2 and its dimension is AL minus 2. Now student, we will discuss mechanism of flow of charge in metals and free electron theory of conduction. As we know that metals are made by electrons and there are number of electrons and free electrons are in the metals or in the conductor. That's why the current, they can easily flow the current in that conductors. So when we provide energy to any metal or to any conductor, then these electrons flows in all the directions randomly and they strike to each other. So students, on the basis of this conduction theory, some points are given. First point is mean free path. So mean free path means when any two collision take place in the distance covered by any electron between two successive collisions is known as mean free path. Next topic is relaxation time. The time taken by any electron between any two successive collisions is known as relaxation time. And the important topic is drift velocity. It is generally asked in the examination. So in order to understand the drift velocity, we have to consider a diagram. There is a conductor whose length is small l and this conductor is connected to a source whose potential is V. So when it is connected to a source, then the flow of current is take place from high potential to low potential and the motion of electron is just opposite to the motion of electric current. So the drift velocity is the minimum amount of velocity by which any electron flows in any conductor towards its length. And if we want the formula of drift velocity, so we have to take some point like a is equal to f upon m, where a is the acceleration produced in the electrons and f is the force applied on that electron, And we know that F is equal to E, small e into capital E, where E is the charge on the electron and E is the electric field, upon M. M is the mass of the electron. So on putting the value, we get A is equal to small e capital V upon small m into small l. Now, when any metal is connected to a source, then it will be heated, and by the heating, the all electrons of the metals are moving in all directions randomly. That means every electron of the conductor have two types of velocity. First, velocity due to thermal agitation, and second, velocity due to continuous collisions. So total velocity will be v1 is equal to 0 plus a tau 1, where thermal velocity will be 0 and a tau 1 is the velocity produced in an electron due to collision. So if we find the average velocity of all the electrons in the conductor, then we get v1 plus v2 plus v3 plus vn upon capital N. So the resultant value will be a tau 1 plus tau 2 plus tau 3 and so on tau n upon capital N, and this average value is considered as a Vd, and Vd is the representation of velocity, which is known as drift velocity. So drift velocity Vd is equal to a tau. This is the required formula for the drift velocity, and this formula is also known as a relation between drift velocity and relaxation time. Now student, the next topic is mobility of electrons. Mobility means how fast an electron move in any conductor by supplying the amount of energy. So we know that Vd is equal to a tau, which is a relation between drift velocity and relaxation time, and we know that A is equal to F upon m, that means E capital E upon small m. So on putting this value, we get Vd is equal to E capital E upon small m, that is small e tau upon small m into capital E. So here E tau upon small m is a quantity known as mu E, and this quantity is called mobility of electrons at a constant temperature. So here we get a relation Vd is equal to mu E into capital E. So mu E is equal to Vd upon capital E. So it is a relation between mobility of free electrons and drift velocity of free electron. On putting the value, there is a relation mu E is equal to Vd. It means that we can say that mobility of free electron will be equal to the drift velocity, but it is true for numerically only, not theoretically. Now the unit of mobility is centimeter square bolt inverse second inverse, or SI unit is meter square bolt inverse second inverse. Student, drift velocity of free electrons and its relation between with electric current. So we have already discussed drift velocity now, but here we have to find the relation between drift velocity and electric current. So take a conductor, and this conductor is directly connected to a source. By connecting it, a current flows in that conductor and free electron moves in the opposite direction of a current. So we know that the total current produced in that conductor I is equal to Q upon T, and we know that the total charge Q is equal to capital N into E. So here total number of free electron will be considered as a NaVd small t into small e, where small e is the total charge on the conductor. So on putting this value, we get a relation I is equal to NeAVd. So this is the required relation for the current and drift velocity. And we know that Vd is equal to mu E into capital E. So on putting this value, I is equal to NeAV mu E into capital E. So this is also an important relation between current and mobility of free electron. And we know that J is equal to I upon A, where J is a current density. So on putting this value, we get a relation J is equal to NeAVd. So it is also an important relation between current density and drift velocity. Student, now we will discuss an important topic which is also studied by you all in the 10th class level. So this is electric resistance. We know that when we applying a potential difference between the ends of a conductor, then the ratio of potential difference to the ratio of current in any conductor is a constant quantity. This is known as electrical resistance. So electrical resistance is represented by capital R, and capital R is equal to V upon I, where V is the potential difference applied between the ends of a conductor and I is the current which is flowing in that conductor. Now student, here we will discuss the unit of resistance. The unit of resistance is 1 ohm. It means that we can say that the ohm is the unit of electrical resistance, and we can also write 1 ohm is equal to 1 volt per ampere. So volt per ampere is also a unit of electrical resistance. Higher unit of electrical resistance is mega ohm, which is 10 to power 6 ohm, and micro ohm is the smaller unit of electrical resistance, which is 10 to power minus 6 ohm. Now student, we will discuss here dimension of electrical resistance. So we know that ohm is equal to volt per ampere, which is joule per coulomb upon ampere, and finally we can write Newton meter upon ampere square into second. So on putting these values in the fundamental form, we get a dimension formula ml2 t minus 3 a minus 2. So this is the dimension of electrical resistance. Now student, we will discuss here electrical conductance. Electrical conductance is the reciprocal of electrical resistance. It is the reciprocal of electrical resistance. And if the unit of electrical resistance is ohm, then its unit will be 1 upon ohm. That means we can say that MHO or ohm inverse, and dimension is M minus 1, L minus 2, T3 and A2. These are the dimension of electrical conductance. Now student, we will discuss here Ohm's law. This is most important topic because the statement and the proving of both are important of this law. So first of all, we will discuss what is the statement of Ohm's law. So if there is no change take place in any conductor, if there will be no change take place in the physical state of any conductor like pressure, temperature, then the potential difference across the conductor is directly proportional to the current flowing in that conductor. Means V is directly proportional to I, where V is the potential and I is the current. So we can say that the ratio of voltage to the current is a constant, means V upon I is equal to constant, and this constant is known as electrical resistance and represented by capital R. If we draw a graph between voltage and current, then we get a straight line, and this straight line shows the electrical resistance. For metals it is always a straight line. Into two parts, and the above topics which was discussed by me, this will be considered as a first part, and I will represent the second part, and in that part we will discuss the rest topics of this chapter. So student, you revise all the topics which is discussed in this session in this first part, and try to understand all the numerical problem and solve as much as possible. So thank you very much, and we will meet after some time for the second part. Thank you.